Welcome to the You're in Charge podcast, prioritizing your self-care without sacrifice. I'm your host, Heather Dumas, healthy lifestyle strategist, owner and founder of HD Transformations Coaching Company. I am passionate about helping you juggle all the balls and look and feel like a badass doing it. Merry Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. And I hope you enjoyed every moment and every piece of chocolate and every delicious, amazing thing about the holiday. Now it's time to get back to it. It's time to get back on track. I hear so many people tell me that they are going to wait until after the holidays, or they're going to wait until after summer break or whatever, and that's when they're going to start making health changes. That's when they're going to start, going to the gym. That's when they're going to start eating better. But I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do that. We often do that because we make the change a bigger deal than it is. We see it as something drastic and overwhelming and life altering. So we can't do it right now because we have all this other stuff going on. But really, what makes the biggest change are small changes, little things that you can adjust every single day, just little choices, choosing one thing over another. I just had this conversation yesterday with someone about it. It's just a matter of taking a step back and looking at your day-to-day life and picking one or two things that you can tweak. And once those are going well, then you tweak a couple other things. You do not and should not completely overhaul your life. It doesn't work. If you decide that you're going to wait until after the holidays or until the new year or until after summer break or whatever, you'll find that you continue to postpone it because it gets to the end of the holidays or it gets to the new year and it's still scary. It still feels big. It still feels like a lot. It doesn't get any easier. In fact, the longer you put it off, the harder it gets. The longer you put it off, the more, number one, weight you probably have to lose because you're probably just gaining it, not losing it. And the more disappointed in yourself, the more disheartened you can become. And also the more entrenched. I talked in a previous episode about how we get really comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable. The more time you spend in this place that you are, the more comfortable your brain gets and the less it wants to change. So why little things? Because it's easy. Instead of grabbing a soda, grab a sparkling water. Are they perfect for you? No, but it's better. There are different soda knockoffs that are flavored with things like stevia or don't have any added colors and that kind of thing. That's a better choice than your average Coke. Okay, so that's an easy switch you can make. Other little changes like that they're not going to disrupt your life. They're not going to derail your holiday festivities. But what they are going to do is start to make a little bit of progress every single day. If you, again, like I said, if you don't make those changes, you're just going to keep going backwards. Also, once you start to build positive habits, you start to make one change, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. It's way easier to add more to it. You start walking. You're like, oh, this feels really good. Maybe I'll start going to the gym. Maybe I'll start meditation. You start 5 minutes a day of meditation, it turns into 10, it turns into 15. Or you go, okay, I'm just going to do it on the weekends. And then it's so enjoyable on the weekend that you bring it into your week. It doesn't have to be all at once. It shouldn't be all at once. And certainly not this time of year because it's stressful. It's busy. We've got a lot going on. I don't want it to be stressful for you, but it can be. I don't want it to be. It shouldn't be. But if it is, you don't need to add more stress to it by completely overhauling your way of eating and your exercise routine and all of that. Little tiny steps. There are certainly more tempting foods. There are more parties. We are not done with that yet. So we still have another week or so. So what do? Well, little changes. Don't stand by the dessert table or the food table. Don't go to the party hungry. It's way more tempting to grab a whole bunch of whatevers when you show up hungry. Take a moment to take a breath. Drink more water before you go, because you know you might be consuming other things that are dehydrating. Make sure that you are giving yourself time in between things to decompress. I'm an extrovert. I love being around a lot of people. I get energized by it, but I still need time to decompress afterwards sometimes. I still need some quiet. I still need some like time to breathe and process all the conversations I've had, all the things I've done. So give yourself a buffer. Don't pack in a party every night of the week or, back to back on the weekends. Give yourself a little buffer. I've had a lot of clients who've had a ton of success this time of year. And it was simply because they had a plan going into it. I had one recently who she was so happy to be able to have her holiday treats. I had another one who, through the holidays, they had a lot of traditions where they would get together and they would bake cookies, and then they would have, this theme night and that theme night. And she was able to convince her family to do something a little bit different to maintain the tradition, but still fun. And instead of centering it around food, they centered it around game night. And then they went and out and walked around and looked at Christmas lights. That's a great activity to do. You're moving, you're talking, you're not sitting around shoving shit down your throat. So, some options for you this season. First of all, please, please, please don't wait. Now is the time. It will never be any easier than it is right now. It doesn't have to be a big, giant change. It doesn't have to be an overhaul. It can be as simple as choosing to drink sparkling water instead of soda, to have a healthier version of chocolate like JoJo's. I'll be sure to drop my link in here. Instead of, your average Lindt or whatever. But also, I want to tell you that it's okay to celebrate. I know that Christmas is past, so, maybe next year, put this in your pocket. But at our house, Christmas, everything is okay. There are no rules on Christmas around food and drinks and whatever. Santa brings Mexican Coke for Anthony because he loves that. Santa brings my favorite chocolates. He brings gummies for my kids because they love gummies. We have all kinds of delicious breakfast food and champagne and all the stuff because we've decided that that's the one day a year we're going to do that. But then today, we're back to it. We're back to our normal gym schedule, our normal clean eating, our normal not indulgent lifestyle. And if there's leftover goodies, which there always are, we have already set in motion the habits to not have those leftover goodies being around the house derail us. I know for me, I've mentioned before, I have zero self-control when it comes to Oreos. So I make sure they're not in the house because I literally cannot stop. But different things like that, if you have something like that, give it away. Take it to the office. Let everybody else enjoy it. Something like that. There are ways around it. If you are feeling an extreme amount of stress, again, I'm going to encourage you to make some time, set a barrier. Maybe it's you block off 20 minutes before each party or each event or each people-y thing, and you do some breathing. You do some meditation if that's your thing. You do listen to some calm music. Breath work is amazing, and it doesn't have to be complicated. You can breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, let it out for 4, hold it for 4. That's called box breathing. Super simple. There are other ones you can do where you just inhale for 1 count less than you exhale and then keep increasing it. So like in for 4, out for 5, in for 5, out for 6, that sort of thing. There are all kinds, and it really doesn't matter. What matters is you're giving yourself a moment to decompress so that you can go to that event or party or whatever your best self, your most relaxed, happy self, not your stressed, frazzled self. My type A friends, your house is probably a mess. It's going to be a mess, and that's okay. It doesn't all have to be cleaned up today. It's okay to take a moment or two and just chill. It'll get cleaned up eventually. And I know, we all have to get back to work. We have to get back to our busy schedules. But just like getting back on track with your eating, just like getting back on track with your exercise, you can get back on track with having a clean house. It just takes one thing at a time, maybe a little help from the rest of the family members that made the mess. Small steps. Don't let anything feel bigger than it is. Not Christmas parties, not losing weight, not shifting your lifestyle into something healthier, not starting to work out at the gym, not meditation, not any of it. None of it is a big deal. You're in charge. You get to decide how much you do at a time. And you get to decide to take one little step, one little change, make one different choice right now, today, and then make another one tomorrow, and allow that to start to snowball. I'm sure you've probably heard of the 1% rule. If you haven't, you should definitely read it. It's a great book, but it's just 1%, just a little bit better every single day. You get the momentum. It builds and it builds and it builds, and it's exponential. And at the end of a week, at the end of a month, at the end of the year, you will look back and be like, holy shit, look how much I just did. Wow. That's what I want for you. I want that for you for your holiday season and every other day of the year. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, soon to be Happy New Year. I hope for you that you decide that this is the time that you finally get to feel better, that you finally get to do something for you because you deserve it and because you're in charge. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you're in charge. You're the only one who can create the life and the body you desire. You and only you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to cheer you on and occasionally to give you the kick in the ass you need to make it happen. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you found value in today's episode, please hit subscribe. It'll bring all the newest episodes to the top of your list. You won't have to worry about it. One less thing. And I would love for you to share it with your most stressed out, frazzled friend. She needs it even more than you do. If you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to cover, reach out, shoot me a message on any of the socials or directly on my website. I would love to hear your idea, your question, and I'm always looking for new ones. Until next time, keep being the badass you are, and remember, you are in charge.